Today's reading is Beetlejuice from the Sexypedia Wiki. Content warning. This page covers sensitive subject matter. If you are disturbed by the following topics: death, murder, one ending their own life, alcoholism, mentions of anti-Semitism, family abuse, sexual harassment, and pedophilic undertones, please proceed with caution or refrain from reading this entry altogether. Notice: the article Beetlejuice is about a character played by or based on a real person. The article is referring exclusively to the fictional character and is in no way about the real-world person portraying them. Beetlejuice Jr., publicly known as Beetlejuice, or sometimes spelled Beetlegeist, is the titular main antagonist of Geffen's sixth full-length live-action/action feature film and Tim Burton's second full-length live-action/animated feature film of the same name, and the secondary antagonist of his 2024 sequel, Tim Burton's 21st full-length film, live-action/animated feature film, and Geffen's 16th full-length live-action/animated feature film Beetlejuice, the first installment of the franchise of the same name. He is a filthy-looking undead white dude that a disproportionately high amount of goth girls would die for. And really, isn't that the entire spirit of sexy men? If that's not enough, there's 3 popular incarnations of this man, all who have received some degree of sexy manning. His class is Tiamat, and his source is Beetlejuice, the film, musical, and animated series. Basic information. In the film, and partially in the musical, Beetlejuice is a very rude, perverted, and chaotic ghost who often invades people's personal space, even to the point of sexual harassment. Despite his malicious nature, Beetlejuice was still used as a force of relative good, as his chaos was directed largely at the antagonists, though he was still pretty gross towards the heroes as well. The cartoon version of Beetlejuice is a more family-friendly version of the character, but is still gross on the same level as Shrek and is best friends with Lydia Dietz. More information can be found on the Beetlejuice Wiki. Archetypes. Fourth wall blurring. In the musical, he makes several fourth wall breaks and jabs at Broadway culture. It's unclear how much of the show is connected to reality, as he narrates some of the plot. Angst. In the original script of the film, a scene was going to reveal that Beetlejuice had committed unalive over a woman while drunk, which led to him becoming an assistant for Juno, a caseworker of the dead. The musical gives Beetlejuice angst by lamenting that being dead means being unable to make friends. It's also implied that Beetlejuice turned out the way he is, desperate to forge relationships because of his abusive alcoholic mother and briefly mentioned an absent father. Burton. From the era of Tim Burton directed, Danny Elfman composed films. You know, before Burton decided that the best color palette out there is various shades of gray. Chaos Lord/Clown. Gives the impression of doing the things he does for the lulz. In the musical, many of the special stunts and props were made specifically for scenes where he does in fact do things for the lulz. Though definitely not a clown, his wild green hair and pale skin makes him resemble a gothic clown of sorts. Con artist. Movie Beetlejuice tries to trick the Maitlands into hiring him to get rid of the Dietzes as they are unable to scare the family themselves despite Juno's advice. The couple quickly declines due to his erratic behavior and lack of boundaries. The musical has Beetlejuice haunting the Maitlands before their untimely demise, and reveals himself the moment the two discover their ghosts. He nonetheless attempts to manipulate the recently deceased couple into having him scare away the Dietz family from their home. The cartoon has the Maitlands removed for unexplained reasons, but BJ's tendencies to trick people for his own gain or amusement is still a prominent trait of his. To further his used car salesman demeanor, Beetlejuice forces Lydia to marry him in a green card sense in order to freely roam the living world in both the film and musical. Controversial. He constantly harasses people and tried to marry an underage girl so he could enter the human realm. Some fans also find Beetlejuice's obsession with Lydia and nicknaming her Babes to be questionable. He may be a fun character, but it's obvious that if he were real, not a lot of people would want him around. This can be somewhat seen at Universal Studios parks, where the actor tones down the innuendos and rude remarks when around children, who seem to be his biggest fans. Distinctive voice. To the point that some people categorize a deep, gruff, and sarcastic voice as a Beetlejuice impression. Dominating. Besides stealing the spotlight in every scene he's in, Beetlejuice dominates people with his brash and lol XD personality. Eldritch/Power. To be fair, a lot of the creatures in this movie fall under this category. He stands out even in universe, however, especially towards the end of the film where he uses his powers to save the Maitlands from being exorcised, scares away Lydia's stepmother friends away from the house, and summons a ghoulish minister along with wedding attire for his and Lydia's arranged marriage, all while stopping everyone from saying his name 3 times in a row. Knife murder. While not irredeemable, musical Beetlejuice's first instinct is always to kill someone. Long coat. Wears a dirty gray trench coat in both the beginning of the film and the musical. Mysterious. Debatable, as the movie doesn't do much to delve into Beetlejuice's backstory and why he has such large amounts of power or if his original death is canon. Considering those who commit unalive become civil servants in the afterlife, and Juno mentions that he used to be her assistant, it's most likely how he died is canon, with the reason being up for debate. The cartoon doesn't do much to help, as various episodes reveal Beetlejuice to have been born a ghost, while other episodes imply he was once a human but died and ended up in the netherworld. Questionable LGBT rep. He sexually harasses both Adam and Barbara and almost every other character in the movie. Musical Beetlejuice, who also harasses the couple but particularly Adam, has been confirmed pansexual by the creators. Quotable catchphrases. It's showtime, and I'm the ghost with the most, babe. Redeemed villain. Or at least that's what's implied in the animated series, as Beetlejuice learns lessons throughout his friendship with Lydia. Tongue imagery. The Beetlejuices at Universal Studios like to stick their tongues out because they're silly like that. Also present in more than enough fan art despite movie Beetlejuice never being shown with his tongue sticking out. Unkempt/suit guy. Very odd combination of having an expensive pinstripe black and white suit that he doesn't take care of. The stripes are meant to represent how Beetlejuice feels like a prisoner due to his circumstances. Villain/technically antagonist/villain protagonist. For the movie and musical anyways, it's cartoon Beetlejuice is more of a mischievous and unconventional hero. Both movie and musical Beetlejuice want a living person to say his name 3 times in order to enter the mortal world, marry a living person, and become human again. It isn't blatantly explained why or what he'll do with his restored humanity, but considering his trickster and chaotic nature, the heroes of the film assume it's not for good intentions. The musical goes a sympathetic route, and it states that Beetlejuice wants to be alive in order to connect with people. Fanon. Ink/flanderization. The musical only caused fans to use Beetlejuice's implied backstory as fuel for their fanfictions, fan art, imagines, and everything else they could cram his trauma into. Seeing a sad and gloomy Beetlejuice with blue/purple hair became somewhat commonplace amongst the fandom. John Locked. The cartoon Beetlejuice was shipped with Jacques Lalanne, a French skeleton with a penchant of fitness who bears a resemblance to Papyrus, personality-wise anyways. Jacques is practically the only being in the netherworld who actually likes BJ and considers him a friend, despite the latter's reluctant reciprocation. Fans of the musical tend to ship him with Adam, as BJ often makes remarks on how attractive he finds him, and Adam at one point decides to kiss Beetlejuice as a diversion. Since Adam is married to Barbara, fans decided to ship all 3 together and have dubbed the ship Golden Rat, Golden Beetle, or Beetlelands. The first ship name has received criticism for being anti-Semitic due to the word rat being involved, as both Beetlejuice and his main actor Alex Brightman are Jewish, and that it might be offensive to refer to them as an animal with negative connotations. If neither ship suits your fancy, then movie Beetlejuice X movie Miss Argentina might be for you, as Beetlelands is barely a ship for the film's fandom. The 2 never interact on screen or acknowledge the other, but that doesn't stop this ship from gaining followers. Fans have even gone as far as creating a cartoon version of Miss Argentina, who is absent probably due to her implied manner of death. A possible origin for the film is that couples often dress as the pair for Halloween.